Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yata Barakamam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Saganardanatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sarvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shiva Shikamritam Om Ajnana Timarandasya Yana Jana Shalakya Chakshurundatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Gurva Bhishtam Supurkam Gurganara Sesha Sambhushitam Chintya Chintya Samasta Veda Nipunam Shri Rupa Patanagam Govinda Vidam Ushvalam Bharatanam Bhaktyan Vidam Sundaram Mande Vishwagurum Shah Divyat Bhagavat Premno Vijap Radam Devam Divyatanam Suchanda Varanam Balarka Sevan Shitam Sandrananda Puram Sadeka Varanam Vairagya Vidyambulim Shri Siddhanta Nidhim Subhakti Lasitam Saraswatanam Varam Banditam Shivaram Mareka Sharanam Nyashishvara Sridharam Manchakopatarubhyasya Kripasindubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahamaranyaya Krishna Prema Pranayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Varatavishe Namah. So we're reading from the Sri Shikshastakam, the 8 prayers given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and this is the 6th verse of the Shikshastakam. These verses we're hearing commentaries of Srila Bhakti Srila Goswami Maharaj. So this is the 6th verse, Hankering for Perfection. Nayanam Vadanashridaraya Varanam Gadgara Rudaya Gira Kulakar Nichitam Vapukara Tavanama Brahmane Vavishyati Nayanam Vadanashridaraya Varanam Gadgara Rudaya Gira Kulakara Nichitam Vapukara Tavanama Brahmane Vavishyati. O Lord, when will tears flow from my eyes like waves, and my voice tremble in ecstasy? When will the hairs of my body stand on end while chanting your holy name? O Lord, when will tears flow from my eyes like waves, and my voice tremble in ecstasy? When will the hairs of my body stand on end while chanting your holy name? Illumination. In this verse, the devotee's prayer has been granted, and he has acquired a position in Krishna's domain. Now his ambition has no end. Although he is posted in a safe position, he is again praying for further promotion. First, he aspired only for an insignificant position as the dust under the soles of Krishna's divine feet. Then the grant came. The touch of Krishna's holy feet came to the dust, and the dust was converted as if by a magic wand. Now a greater, higher demand automatically comes. The devotee thinks, what is this? I prayed only to become the dust of the soles of your feet. What do I now feel within me? I am the dust of the earth, and you are the supreme absolute truth. But by the very touch of your lotus feet, dust has been converted into such a great and inconceivable substance. I wonder, how is it that I've been transformed? Now I find that my demand is for greater intimacy. First I aspired for servitude, but now by the touchstone of your lotus feet, that hope has been converted into spontaneous attraction. Radha Marg. The king of affection. Spontaneous attraction can only mean Krishna, not Narayan or Ramachandra. Krishna means one who is worshipped by divine love and attraction and affection. Krishna means one who is worshipped by divine love and affection. He is the king of affection, the center of affection and love. The devotee's whole conception of devotion changed just by coming in touch with Krishna's lotus feet, and he was graced by the demand for for more intimacy. He was graced by the demand for more intimacy. Greater love and affection came to grace that servitor. He was raised to such a plane of dedication that his prayer has changed. He thinks, what is this? I can't check my tears. They're coming incessantly. And when I try to chant your name, my Lord, I feel that I'm losing control. Some interference from another quarter is moving me, disturbing my normal thinking and aspirations. I feel I am in the midst of another plane. I am nowhere. I have lost control. I become a doll in the hands of some other power. Lotus feet, magic wand. My aspiration is taking me towards something else. Now I not only want a connection with you as a servitor from a distance, but coming in touch with the magic wand of your lotus feet, my aspiration has changed. I see that so many devotees are engaged in your service and chanting your name. And seeing this, my hopes have been raised. I want to be lifted to that position. I can visualize that position from far away. But now my earnest prayer is that I may be raised to that level. Your connection has given me such thirst. I want to be handled by you. Play with me as you like in your own way. My heart hankers after such a relationship with you. When I chant your name with this feeling, I find that my previous conception has changed and my new hankering is for the standard of spontaneous love. I pray that you lift me into that plane of your divine affection and love. Hankering for perfection. Nayanam galadashudaraya, varanam gadgara rudaya gira, ulakar nichitam vapukara, javanama grahane bhavishyati. O Lord, when will tears flow from my eyes like waves and my voice tremble in ecstasy? When will the hairs of my body stand on end while chanting your holy name? So from this verse we can understand that how also this verse is talking about how the devotee prayed to be situated as a particle of dust at the Lord's lotus feet. But by coming in contact with the Lord's lotus feet, his petition or his desire also changed. And we could say this also relates to the change that comes about in one just by contact with the Lord in terms of chanting his holy name. Because we can say also the Shikshastakam also deals with the development of devotion which will come to a devotee by being in touch with the Lord's holy name. Now here, Srila Sridhar says that this kind of spontaneous attraction or affection that can favor a devotee in which the devotee is praying for, it can only come in contact with Krishna. And this is being expressed by Mahaprabhu. There's no expression of desire of a link with Narayan or Ramachandra. Rather, we can see that is not the nature of the spontaneous attraction for Krishna that the devotees of Vrindavan are feeling. In one instance, the devotee, Krishna, when he saw the absence of Radharani in the rasa dance, then he left the rasa dance and he began looking for Radharani. And at that time, the gopis came looking for Krishna. And from a distance, they saw Krishna. And so they said, oh, there's Krishna. But when Krishna, he desired to hide himself from the gopis. There were many gopis coming looking for him. And when they came to look for him, then he assumed the form of Narayan Murti. But what happened when the gopis from a distance, they thought it was Krishna. Then when they came to the bush where Krishna was situated and hiding, then he showed himself as Narayan Murti. And then they lost had no attraction to continue to, for Narayan. They only asked Narayan, oh, we are looking for Krishna, has he passed here? And they're offering prayers, of course, to Narayan, but they don't have that spontaneous affection for Narayan that they have for Krishna. That is, in Vrindavan, all the affection and all the attraction is coming for Krishna himself, not this kind of what is called rag marg. This kind of spontaneous attraction is only felt in relationship with Krishna. So that is the prayer of Mahaprabhu, to develop this spontaneous attraction. At first, we can say there's attraction for Dasharas, that may be the beginning of all the different rasas. And actually, Dasharas, or servitude, is in all the other rasas, whether one has a relationship with Krishna as a servant, or as a friend, or as a parenthood, as a parent, or an elderly person in relation with Krishna, that's Vatsalya Ras, Dasya Ras, Sakya Ras, Vatsalya Ras, and ultimately Madhurya Ras, which means relationship as a lover of Krishna. But whatever the relationship, they're all built upon servitude of Dasharas. But so Mahaprabhu initially wanted to come in contact with Krishna. He prayed to have a position as a particle of dust at Krishna's lotus feet. But then that contact with Krishna's lotus feet, that changed his consciousness. And now from position of servitude, then he wants greater intimacy. And here, this prayer is stated as, when will tears flow from my eyes like waves and my voice tremble in ecstasy? When will the hairs of my body stand on end while chanting your holy name? So those are all indications of ecstatic love of Godhead, which will happen in Rag Marg, where there's this spontaneous attraction for the Lord. And we can say also that kind of spontaneous attraction for the Lord is felt by the residents of Vrindavan in particular. As we've heard from Srila Guru Maharaj, he says sometimes the cowherd boys are saying, they say that Krishna is not from here, that he's from another place, and perhaps he's from Mathura, and soon he will go away, and whatever. So there's a sense of, also along with that attraction comes a sense of you could say the circumstances that are happening during the Krishna Leela. They're indicating the sense of that their relationship with Krishna is not assured, that it can be changed, that Krishna may go away. In other words, even in relationship with Krishna, they have a sense of love and separation, regardless whether it's the friends of Krishna, the cowherd boys, the parents of Krishna. They're also they say that Krishna is not our child. Mother Yashoda says, they say Krishna is not my child, but I don't care what they say. My only interest is my love for Krishna. I don't care what the talk of other people is. My only desire is for Krishna. I only want Krishna to be happy. And this relationship is also there in the Parakiya Ras of the gopis, because the gopis are not wives of Krishna, just in the relationships in Dwarka. the concerthood is that of being married. So the queens, they're married with Krishna. Krishna marries 16,108 different queens. So they have a sense of some security that Krishna is their husband, that Krishna is there, that Krishna is living with them. But the gopis don't have, in Vrindavan, they don't have that sense of security. That Krishna is not their husband. But that idea of crossing over different obstacles, like leaving their homes or leaving their husbands and going off into the night, attracted by Krishna's flute, that creates this feeling that not a possession, but of so much attraction. They feel themselves to be called by Krishna's flute. So this is the kind of spontaneity. That is the quality of Brahma Marg. Means not there is, we say in general, there is two kinds of relationships with Krishna. One is called Vidhi Marg and the other is called Rag Marg. So Vidhi Marg is more, we could say, in relationship with, actually Vidhi Marg is more in relationship with Vishnu or Narayan. Although also maybe in other aspects of Krishna Lila and Dwarka, but in general we will say that Vidhi Marg is more marked by a sense of awe and reverence and majesty. It was called Aishwarya Gyan. Aishwarya Gyan means knowledge of Krishna's majesty, of his opulence. So, for instance, Mother Yashoda, she at one time is told by Balaram, oh, Krishna's eating dirt, he's eating mud. And Krishna says, that's not true. Balaram's trying to get me into trouble. He's accusing me of eating dirt, but that's not true. And then Mother Yashoda says, all right, then open your mouth. And when Krishna opens his mouth, because his mother wants to see if he has any mud or dirt in his mouth, when he opens his mouth, then he shows to his mother the whole Virata Rupa, the whole universal form, and she can see everything, everything in creation is there within the mouth of Krishna. She can see herself, she can see Krishna, she can see everything. She can see everything that exists, she can see in the mouth of Krishna, and this is in dazzling effulgence. And when she sees this, naturally, she forgets her maternal relationship, her mother relationship as mother of Krishna, and she begins to worship Krishna with a sense of Aishwarya, of awe and reverence. Just as Arjuna, when Krishna shows Arjuna the universal form, and then Arjuna is overwhelmed seeing the universal form, and he begins offering prayers to Krishna, and he prays, please forgive me when I've sat down with you in intimacy, I've sat on the same bed with you, or I've called you, oh Krishna, oh my friend, or I've spoken with you with too much intimacy. Please forgive me for not showing you the proper respect. So that means the show of Krishna's opulence, show of the universal form or the Virata Rupa. In the case of Mother Yashoda, or in the case of Arjuna, has, we can say, crippled their natural relationship with Krishna. Arjuna being a friend. Friends will behave in intimacy. If I have a friend, I will joke with my friend. We will talk together. We will eat together. I've seen in India people. If somebody is eating, then people will not want to take anything from his plate because that is not done. But when people, I've seen in the railroad cars, when people are traveling, sometimes there'll be 3 or 4 friends sitting together, and they'll all have a plate of something, like some snacks, and they'll all be taking together off the same plate. So that sense of friendship goes beyond the sense of, we can say, of etiquette or sense in the case of the gopis. They're going beyond the idea of the moral restrictions of society. They can leave their husbands, they can go to see Krishna. So this is the sense of Raga Marg. And the opposite, Vidhi Marg. Vidhi Marg is that the devotees are seeing Krishna as Mother Yashoda and Arjuna did when they saw the universal form, but in the sense of Aishwarya Gyan, majesty, awe, reverence. But we find that real love of Godhead is inhibited by that sense of opulence. So this is the natural development that's happening. First, Mahaprabhu shows the mood of a devotee who's praying to take shelter of Krishna's lotus feet and have a sense of service to Krishna. But after that was granted, just like a petition was granted, now you can say when one has a position granted, then comes a desire for more intimacy, greater intimacy, and that is expressed here in this verse as the symptoms of Radhamar. And that is actually what predominates in Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, the worship is not going on with formality. In Vrindavan, no one is worshiping Krishna because he's God. They don't know that Krishna is God. They're not thinking of Krishna as God. There may be some rumors that Krishna is not an ordinary boy, or Krishna is not from this town. But they're not the friends of Krishna, the lovers of Krishna, the parents of Krishna. They're not thinking that Krishna is God. They're not worshiping him or friends with him or lovers of him out of a sense of obligation because he's God. They're unaware of that. They're not thinking of that. Their sense is just that of prema, of pure attraction and love. So now we'll go on to the next verse. Let's see. Okay. Yugai, this is forever without you. Yugaitam nimeshena chakshusha pravishaitam shunyaitam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me. Yugaitam nimeshena chakshusha pravishaitam shunyaitam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me. So this is one of my favorite explanations of Srila Sridhar Maharaj. That's forever without you. So the translation of Yugaitam Nimeshena Chakshusha Prabhishaitam Jagat Shunyaitam Jagat Sarvam Govinda Virahename. O Govinda, without you, the world is empty. Tears are flooding my eyes like rain, and a moment seems like forever. O Govinda, without you, the world is empty. Tears are flooding my eyes like rain, and a moment seems like forever. Sometimes this verse is translated, O Govinda, without you, I feel a moment to be 12 years or more. The word yuga is sometimes translated 12 years. Some devotees say this is because Mahaprabhu experienced the most intense separation from Krishna in the mood of Radharani for 12 years. In the Sanskrit dictionary, it is said that one yuga means 12 years. That is one conception. Another meaning is millennium or age. A yuga can also mean an unlimited amount of time. So here, one meaning of yuga is 12 years, so sometimes this is translated as, O Govinda, without you I feel alone to be 12 years or more. And then sometimes yuga is translated as a millennium or age. So we're also thinking of Chatur Yuga, of 4 yugas forming, Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwarpara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. But those yugas are more obviously long periods of time, but still finite periods. Sometimes said that Kali Yuga was 500,000 years of Kali Yuga.
432.
Huh?
432,000 años.
Okay, 432,000 years of Kali Yuga. So it's a large period of time. But here, another comment is a yuga can also mean an unlimited amount of time. An unlimited amount of time. Or we could even say unlimited amount of time means like an eternity. So Guru Maharaj will continue to develop this thought. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, one moment seems like an unlimited period of time. And my eyes are shedding tears like rain. The rainy season produces so many floods, and now it seems to me that my eyes are flooding. The visible is becoming invisible to me. I am so withdrawn from the present environment that I can't see anything. My mind feels so much internal attraction towards the center of the infinite that wherever I cast my glance, I see nothing. My mind feels so much internal attraction towards the center of the infinite that wherever I cast my glance, I see nothing. Everything appears vacant because I feel as if Govinda has withdrawn from me. Sri Krishna, reality, the beautiful. Such a peculiar sort of feeling is within me. I have no interest in anything. All my interest is drawn towards Govinda, and to such a degree that I am a stranger to my present environment. I have nothing, no consciousness. It has gone somewhere else towards the infinite. When there is a drought, all the rivers and lakes dry up. The water is drawn towards the gas world. In other words, evaporated. Nowhere is a drop of water to be found. It is something like that. All charm is withdrawn so extensively that everything is empty. My senses, mind, and everything else has been drawn up, attracted by the all-attractive, all-charming, all-sweet personality of God as Sri Krishna, reality, the beautiful. Sometimes it seems that the gap between union and separation is like so many millennia. The devotee thinks, I have lost the consciousness of meeting Krishna long, long ago. He has a faint remembrance. I had some union with Krishna, but I left that so far behind, so far off, that it appears to be an unlimited gap of time. I once had a faint recollection, but now it is gone, perhaps forever. He feels such a great degree of disappointment and despair. This is the standard of the infinite world. Just as we measure the distance of the planets and stars by light years, here by the transcendental temperament is being measured. Here the transcendental temperament is being measured by such a standard. What audacity we have to deal with things so great and beyond our jurisdiction. Well, this is something I very much feel from Srila Sridhar Maharaj's comment, his commentary, that is like the difference between Newton and Einstein. In Newton's physics, we have a sense of the finite, and that there are laws of physics that have validity in this finite world. But when we start talking about distance between stars or traveling at the speed of light, then everything becomes changed, and normal laws of physics become completely set aside. So for instance, in the finite world, we may talk about the distance between 2 points. 2 points as so many miles or so many kilometers, so many thousands of kilometers or millions of kilometers. But when we consider light years, what is the speed of light? It's such a great distance in 1 second, the speed of light. And it is said that when one travels at the speed of light, all the laws of physics no longer apply. Even there's time travel based on that, and on that traveling at the speed of light. So that is the difference between, we can say, Einsteinian physics or Einstein's theory of relativity changes everything. So here, Guru Maharaj is talking about a different standard in terms of feelings of separation towards Krishna. The devotees, their predominant feeling of advancement is that of Vipralambha. Mahaprabhu is serving Krishna in separation. Cannot remember, even a moment, even a second feels like an unbearable eternity. I can't remember when I was with Krishna, the advanced devotee is feeling. So much, every second without the Lord is seeming like an eternity. This is a different terminology. Mahaprabhu is talking like that. He's not talking normal term for Yugaitam, Nimeshena, Shakshusha, Pravishaitam. The normal terminology for yuga in some definitions may be 12 years. Or it may be 1 millennia, like Kali Yuga, Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwarkara Yuga. It may be like that, even longer. But here we're using the sense of yuga to mean eternity, infinite amount of time. That's what separation feels like that Mahaprabhu is expressing that degree of separation from the Lord, and he's expressing it in these terms, in terms of this verse, which is Yugaitam Nimeshena Chakshusha Pravishaitam Shunyaitam Jagat Sarvam Govinda Virayam. Oh Govinda, without you the world is empty. Tears are flooding my eyes like rain. In a moment seems like forever. You could say maybe even forever is longer than eternity. Forever. At first the devotee thought, if I raised to that standard of service, my heart will be fulfilled. My thirst will be quenched. And I will feel some ease and satisfaction within me. But the development of his devotion took me to an unexpected plane of life. It is the nature of divine love that when a drop of that medicine is given to a hankering patient, the patient thinks he is cured, but he is taken into a dangerous position. He thinks, seeing the devotees shedding tears incessantly, the hairs of their bodies standing on end, their voices choked up, while chanting the name of Krishna, I was charmed. Those symptoms attracted me, and I thought that if I could attain this, I would feel real satisfaction. But upon attaining that plane, what do I feel? Just the opposite. Coming into real connection with the infinite, he feels hopeless. He thinks, there is no limit to progress. Rather, as much as I come in intimate connection with the infinite, I feel hopeless. The more we advance, the more we find it unlimited. And finding it unlimited, we become hopeless, but we can't turn back. There's no possibility of retracing our steps. We can only go ahead. This is the spirit of a genuine devotee. Finding the infinite characteristic of our prospect, we can't leave. We become hopeless thinking, the highest kind of nectar is just before me, but I can't taste it. I am unable to touch it or get it in my fist. Still, its charm is so great that I can't retreat from this entanglement. And within that, a small span of time seems like millions of years. So this is the expression that Mahaprabhu is feeling. This is the expression of Mahaprabhu's consciousness. So deep is his consciousness. He prayed for some further advancement and further development of spontaneity, of rag marg within his service, a spontaneous attraction for Krishna. And that also was granted. But when he was granted that, then he became overwhelmed by constant feelings of separation from the Lord. Rivers of tears. The devotee thinks, oh, long, long ages have passed away. Still I am in want. I am trying to get it, but I can't get it. And time is passing. Time is also infinite. So many rivers of tears take birth from my eyes. Tears profusely run down from my eyes over my body, but I don't find the position of success within my reach. My mind is fully vacant. I can't find any trace of my future. I have no charm, no attraction for anything else that might seem to console this diseased body. I find no possibility of solace from any other quarter. All alternatives have been eliminated. I am fully in the clutches of Krishna consciousness and love of Krishna. If there is anyone who can come to my relief, help me. I am lost. I am helpless. If there is anyone who can help me, please come to my rescue. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that when we are deeply situated in love of Krishna, we can't leave it, but our thirst increases and we feel no satisfaction. We are in the midst of such an apparently horrible position. The hankering for Krishna, which awakens in one's mind, takes this direction. When a devotee really comes in connection with Krishna, his position will be all eliminating and all exclusive. His complete conception will be on Krishna. In this verse, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describes how a devotee goes further, awakens a higher conception of Krishna, and then seeing Krishna just before him but not getting him, feels this kind of separation. The more he progresses, the more he finds himself in this position of hopelessness. The highest advice of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu helps us adjust ourselves to this intense mood of separation. He tells us, you are going to be lost in Krishna consciousness. And what will be your position? You are a drop, and you will be thrown into the ocean of divine love. So a very beautiful commentary here of Srila Sridhar Maharaj. I always very much like so much this commentary the Guru Maharaj makes. And some people, then when they hear about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, some people say, oh, I don't know, because he expresses so much suffering. He is going through so much in his love of Krishna. It is frightening. But it is said that this love of Krishna, it is simultaneously defeats the poison of the cobra, but it is like having nectar poured upon your head. It is simultaneously, you can understand how people will say, oh, we don't know, Mahaprabhu, it seems like he is suffering. He is suffering. He's crying and he's feeling separation and he's suffering. Yes, that is there, but at the same time, it's like having nectar poured upon one's head. So how can we understand that? How can we understand these two extremes? And one way of understanding is that, for instance, Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, when the devotees of ISKCON first came to his mat, and I believe he refers to Bhavananda, he said he was a young devotee and he spoke something, and when I heard him speak, he was speaking about union and separation. And Srila Govinda Maharaj said Guru Maharaj was surprised because actually who had expressed this idea of union and separation, which later Srila Prabhupada presented to the devotees, Srila Govinda Maharaj said that idea of union and separation came from Srila Guru Maharaj Srila Sridhar Maharaj himself. He was the one who expressed union and separation. And when Guru Maharaj heard young devotees, who had heard from Prabhupada obviously, when he heard them speaking about union and separation, then Guru Maharaj was very surprised that such young devotees could express this conception. Actually, that conception, as I said, from Guru Maharaj himself. But that will explain how there is simultaneously the pain of the poison from a cobra and the overwhelming bliss of amrita, of nectar. They're both there because of that union and separation. That separation becomes so intense that it is even a higher form of having a relationship with Krishna. The intensity of that separation. And it is that intensity that's being expressed here in this verse. Yugayitam nimeshena chakshusha pravishayitam shunyayitam jagat sarvam govinda virahename. Oh Govinda, feeling in your separation from you, I am feeling one moment to be like forever, to be like an eternity. And then it is tears are flooding, and without you the world is empty. Tears are flooding my eyes like rain, and a moment seems like forever. So this expresses that deep separation. And actually, this is the proper way of serving the Lord. If one does not serve the Lord in separation, but one time Govinda Maharaj heard that one Swami was talking about that union is higher than separation. And Srila Govinda Maharaj said, this is an insult to the Rupa Nuga Sampradaya.
He must be an habitant of the hell.
What?
He must be an habitant of the hell.
A what of hell?
Él será un habitante del infierno.
He must be a habitant of hell. An inhabitant of hell. Yes. Because then Govinda Maharaj said, what is this union that he's talking, that union is higher in separation? Srila Govinda Maharaj said, even a goat can feel that union. And because in this world, what is the dominant force? In every species of life, not just humans, animals, plants, insects, what is the dominant force? Sexual attraction. That's going on in all the species. So if one does not know anything about the nature of Mahaprabhu's conception as given by Rupa Goswami, Vipralamba, of service and separation, then one has no conception of reality. Of course, I don't have any conception of reality. These are terms very much, beyond my level of realization. But I very much appreciate hearing the commentary on this verse by Srila Sridhar Maharaj, because I feel it opens up, vast. It opens up before us a vision of something beyond our normal perception. And another thing I remember is why I have some hope also is like on an instrument like a veena or a sitar. There are strings that are called sympathetic strings. They're not actually played. The main strings of the veena or the sitar are played, but there are sympathetic strings that vibrate in harmony to the sound of those strings. Those strings, when they're played, they cause the sympathetic strings to vibrate. So I don't have any real hope for feeling of these very advanced qualities and symptoms of prema, of love of Godhead, that is expressed by Srila Sridhar Maharaj. But at the same time, I feel very satisfied hearing about these things, so then I feel maybe I can be something like one of those sympathetic strings that has some possibility. Maybe is beyond my perception, these thoughts,
but I hear about them and I feel them to be very wonderful, and then like a sympathetic string. The fact that I can vibrate or feel something in relation to the comments that Srila Sridhar Maharaj makes me feel that maybe sometime in the distant future I will be able to come to that kind of consciousness which is expressed. Maybe, maybe not, but at least there is hope. And that's what the qualities of Srila Sridhar Maharaj is expressing. To me, it is like something very wonderful, like Einstein's conceptions of relativity. We're always hearing about Vidhi Marg. We're always feeling about, service. And sometimes I remember there was somebody presented some book, for instance, on Tulsi worship. And it said, well, if you do this and you do that and you do that, you will get the benefit of having traveled to all the holy places, or this or that. As if it could be almost in some ways as if it could be materially calculated, what benefit you will get by developing some service attitude towards Tulsi Devi or doing parikrama. Why does it have to be measured in terms of this will be your benefit? Or if you do this devotion. Yeah, Ekadasi.
All your family will be...
Yes. But sometimes those things are expressed. Even in the end of the Bhagavad Gita, we heard in the glories of the Gita, there were many things expressed. If you do this, then it is the same as you will get the benefit of having performed so many ashram sacrifices and all that. But it also says elsewhere, if you consider that executing so many thousands of ashram sacrifices is equal to chanting one holy name of the Lord, then you are a pashandi. You are like an atheist to think in those terms. So here I feel that Srila Guru Maharaj, he gives one, we're not interested in, we consider, we've heard of union and separation, but for us we feel that serving the Lord in separation, that is a safe way of serving the Lord. And that will develop a sense of, Rupa Goswami talks about service and separation, so we're inspired by that. And that's what this verse is about, this in serving the Lord and having this sense of separation. Yugaitam nimeshena. Like that. It's like these. So I'm going to end here. We'll chant Hari Haraya. I'll let Maharaj play the kartals and I'll sing. And that way people won't hear so much treble from the microphone. Sounds good. This is why they're made from bell metal. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jaravaya Nama Jaravaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinatha Marana Mohan Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raguna Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raguna H.I. Gosai Kori Charana Bandhan Jao Hoite Vignana Shabishta Puran H.I. Gosai Jarmui Taradas Tasavar Padarenu Mora Panchagras Tader Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanibas Janame Janame Mor E Abhilas H.I. Gosai Jabe Braje Koilabas Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majja Iyaman Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyash Harinam Sankirtana Kohe Narata Muda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Haribo. Nitai Gora Haribo, 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 Haribo. Jai Saparikara Shishi Guru Guranga Gandharvika Giridhari Jo Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Nirmawacharya Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Sunanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Rupanuga Guru Bharga Ki Jai. Namachari Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dasha Raghunath Shad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Premsigo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Vishvavaranya Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Shri Soquel Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. All the assembled devotees Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.